DJ that Hughes, man.
Yo, what's up, world? It's your boy Jay Smiley, and welcome back to the EYMF Podcast, powered by the EYMF Network. Before I get started, of course, as always, I got to shout out the best podcast team in the podcast world. Fellas, appreciate y'all, and fruit snacks. But world, without further ado, I got to introduce our dope guest that we have joining us today, coming all the way from Lansing, Michigan. Y'all, we have one of the hottest entrepreneurs in the game right now, y'all. He's been in the music industry for 20 plus years. He has an awesome studio known as the Cracka Studios that he's currently in right now with the dope setup. He's also a co-host for the It's Something in the Water podcast. And he's also a great content creator and influencer. Y'all, without further ado, I'm very excited to announce the one and only, my apologies,
Cracka Lack.
Cracka Lack. Yeah. I feel like he had the drum roll going on. I was like, all right, you gonna keep going?
Thank you. That was awesome.
We got
that was awesome.
Joining us. Hey man, yes, no problem, man. No problem. And you deserve that, man. You know, you deserve those flowers, like we were saying before we started. You know, it's all about elevating your mind and faith. And as always, we want to dive right into it. But before we dive right into it, we want to just take this time for you to just promote yourself, put your socials out there, just so the world can know how to reach you. And just a little bit of background about who you are before we dive into this interview.
Yeah, so about 20 years ago, my best friend kind of convinced me to rap, right? So I got into making music, and I was interested as like a music artist. And I was the friend out of the group that was down to learn how to make the beats, because you can't have a song without a beat. So I was like, okay, I'm interested in this stuff. I'll learn how to make beats. Then I was also the friend out of the group that was down to learn how to record the songs, mix the songs, master the songs. So I started doing that and put out 16 projects from like when I was 17 to about 23. So in like 7 years, I put out 16 projects. So it was a lot of music. But long story short, I realized that being the artist wasn't for me, but I really liked all the behind the scenes stuff. So like making the beats, recording the songs. And I just noticed like when I would get around certain music artists, there's like this it factor where some guys, you get around them and it's just like, you can play any beat and then they just go. And then they sound amazing. It's like, yo, you're a star. You're meant to do this. I have enough awareness to know that I don't have that thing, but I'm like the perfect side dish to go with that, because like you need me like I need you. So I should just offer my services to the music artists out there. And that's what I've done for a living now for since I was 21. I'm 35 as of today, so about 14-15 years full-time, offering services.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Nice. And you said as of today. Is today your
as
birthday?
Of today?
Not today, but just like as of the time.
Okay. I was about to say happy birthday. I got you though.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Cool. That's dope, man. That's dope. And that's a journey. That's definitely a long, dedicated journey. And for you to stay dedicated and focused with that, it definitely took a lot of determination and focus for sure, and elevating. So that's dope to hear. Well, I'm gonna toss it off to the team. You know me, I can ask questions all day for sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss it off to the guys. Go ahead and dive right into it, y'all. CP, man, have at it, Brody.
All right. So I'm gonna put it like this. Josh, you don't know this, but Cracka Lack inspired me to build my PC.
Really?
Oh,
Word. Because he shoot music videos, so he have to do a lot of video editing.
Yeah.
So I was trying to learn how to do it and stumbled across one of his videos to where he was talking about how he put like $3,000 into his PC so he could edit fluently.
That's crazy.
Just speak to the people of how important the PC part of it when it comes to your video editing and that whole process?
First, I want to say that this is why I love creating content. Like, always down to do stuff like this, creating content. Like, it's the best way to leverage your time. Like right here, right now, we are meeting each other for the first time. However, it's going to be recorded, so now it's going to be on the internet, and there's going to continue to be more and more people that watch this video for the rest of our lives, and even when we're dead and gone. And there's going to be people from my audience that are meeting you guys for the first time that are watching this, and then there's going to be people from your audience that are going to be meeting me for the first time after watching this. So I just love that, and I love the fact that like doing something one time, it's like cloning yourself, and then you can be in more than one place at any given time. And the fact that like CP, we technically have met previously because from you consuming that piece of content, you spent some time with me already, listened to me, hopefully got some value from me, inspired you to, build the PC. And, so now we're technically meeting for the second time, although it's really the first time. So I love that.
Yeah.
As far as the PC, that's like the brains behind the whole operation. For sure. Like you could be a great editor, but when you sit down and something that could take 5 seconds is taking 5 minutes because of your computer being, so shitty. I hate it. It's drives me nuts. Patience, for sure. So
yeah.
Shout out to the people that build PCs.
You sound like me, Crack. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like that's one thing that I'll say I've learned from CP, and he's learned from you. So technically, I've learned from you indirectly. So thank you. Is to perfect your craft, right? Like invest into your craft. I've learned so much from CP on the technology side, just whether it's editing or making reels or just understanding different lingo. And when he built his computer, I was like, man, yo, my boy is genius. Like, he built his computer.
Man,
you know what I mean? Like, for real. Like, and I'm the type of person I stay giving my boys their flowers because without them, you know what I'm saying, I would be nothing. But I tell people all the time, like, oh man, my bro built the computer. It's 3 hours. Like, yeah, like I'm not saying it's easy, but you know what I'm saying, he did that, So to know now in the moment that he actually, got those gems from you, it just brings it all full circle. And I like that for sure, because that was a genuine moment for us, because I'm like, man, like my boy is really like pushing me and challenging me to learn a world that I'm not familiar with. I don't dive into the tech world, into the editing world, anything like that. Like, and he just keeps pushing me. So it's dope to see that connection. So
can I ask you guys some questions?
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead.
How long have you guys known each other?
High school?
It's 2024. I would say since 2004.
20 years?
20 years.
Yeah, 20 years.
All three of you?
Me and CP known each other for 20 years, and Jordan, we've known each other since high school as well. So I would say
about
15, 16 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So no, we got some time in the game with each other. And it's funny that you asked that question, because life just kind of brought us back together. You know what I mean? Like, we all didn't like kick it like tough in high school. We didn't kick it tough after high school, but life
brought us together.
Brought us back together, and we're doing some good things, man.
And then before you guys started this podcast, how often throughout the month would you guys touch base with each other?
Before we started the podcast?
Yeah.
So look, let me give you my piece. These guys had started it before I was brought in. I was kind of like guest starring in other people's podcasts and all. And like I said, I've known these guys for a long time. But the moment I saw that it was them two that had their own pod together, I automatically knew that this was the energy that I needed to put myself into. And they opened their arms with me like it was nothing. So like, just knowing them and knowing the energy and the integrity that this group has and what they have together is that's what brought it all together here for me. So just staying that alone.
What's your guys' favorite part of having a podcast?
Excuse me?
What's your guys' favorite part of having a podcast?
The experience of trying to be consistent, and the people that we come across that has a lot of experiences, and like you, for instance, like this amazing people that's doing their craft is the best experience for me. I live for this.
I know how you said consistency, because one thing that I found with my own podcast, we stick to like a consistent schedule of like every Monday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. we link up and we film for those 3 hours where right at 7 we'll have a guest there and we'll do like an hour 15, hour and a half at the most episode. And then we say our goodbyes to them, we take a picture for the thumbnail, and then we sit down without a guest and we do an episode. And what we found was kind of like when we would have a guest on, it's a lot of the guests, because they're I guess the main star of that specific episode.
Yeah.
So they get most of the talking time. But it was the episodes we did without a guest, like connecting, where we got to talk more. And it was like, that was the thing that filled our cup.
Yep.
So it was like, okay, let's make sure we schedule one of those every time we do a guest one. And it's like a guest one is also really good for growing because it's networking, it's meeting new people. Then when you have the little clips go out on social media, you can tag them and get them to share it on their pages to their audience. And so like the guests are really good for collaborating, but then the episodes without the guests are really good for like your soul and filling your own cup. And then what I was gonna say about the consistency is I found like even just having a podcast that you're consistently doing, it helps with all these other areas of your life being more consistent, because it's just the mindset of like, even if I drop the ball on these other 5 things, at least no matter what, I have this thing that I'm always consistent with, and that's for me like the podcast.
Yep. I agree for sure. And to answer your question, the one thing I love most about podcasting is I got to watch something grow from the very beginning.
It's fun.
And it's very fun. And regardless, rest in peace to my sister, but regardless of what stemmed it, to answer your question even further back, and I'll lead into that next question, me and CP, we talked pretty frequently before we started this podcast, because we actually had already started another podcast prior to that. And then before that, we actually had a mutual friend that brought us back close together, who's no longer here with us, rest in peace to Dre. But he brought us back together prior to even talking about podcasting. We were just talking about content creating.
Yeah.
Started talking about podcasting, started a sports podcast, and then the passing of my sister was just like, hey, let's really lock in seriously and really get for real with it. And February 11, 2023 was the day we said, hey, let's rebrand this. Let's do it. Here goes the logo. February 28th, we dropped our first episode, and we've been going ever since, man. And then to your point, the organic piece of it, watching it grow from just us two to adding on hosts to unfortunately hosts leaving us, and then bringing people on and really forming that team where we're solid right now with 4 of us. We have a host who just actually relocated to Houston, so she's not with us tonight, but we formed a team that's solid. We're here, we got each other's back, and to see it grow from just our own energy. And we have those episodes, like you said, we connect, and it's just us. It's just the team. We're talking about our experiences, and that's what got the people's attention. It's like, man, like, you guys are being real. You guys are being honest. You have to be honest because we know you. You know what I mean? Like, so I love hearing the authentic piece of it. And then one day we were talking, me and CP, we were just like, man, you know what? I think we're there. And he was like, yeah. It's like, all right, let's try to go and get our first guest. And by the grace of God, I'll be honest, one thing led to another, and here we are. You know what I mean? Like CP said, you inspired him. We see something in your content and the influence that you have. You have a couple of sayings and a couple of quotes that you threw out on IG that have caught my attention. Like, one of them is, "Don't let your ego hold you back." Like, us reaching out to you, seeing if you'll come on the pod, like, that's just us just going after something that we want, and that's just taking us that much closer to our goal. But not letting our ego hold us back. Like, we have 3 guys on this pod, and we all split the pie evenly. I don't know how you split it evenly with 3 people, but that one piece is going to get broken up real nice.
Yeah.
But that's just
I take the vet minimum,
But that's just how we work, man. Like, yes, it's my sister, and we all endure that pain. You know what I mean? And that's why I love them so much. So that's the cool part about it, man. Like, forming that brotherhood, bro. Like,
yes, sir.
One man is no bigger than a team. Like, we're all right there. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what makes it cool. That's
definitely forgot to mention brotherhood. Brotherhood is one of the biggest reasons why I'm still sticking strong and will always be strong, because once you build something and you connect You know, not and shout out to the sisters that's been a part. But you know, but when you build that brotherhood, you know, it makes it even more satisfying when you make it through together.
Yeah. Those wins are that much more sweeter. You know what I mean? But that struggle is like, it's that much more like, let's grind it out, because I know I got my boys on the side of me going through it. Like, we've made trips to do interviews, man, and those trips have been journeys. And I look beside me and my boy is there. Like, all right, cool.
Story to tell. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy. So that's actually a great question. You know what I mean? To ask that, as we just hit our 1 year mark a couple weeks ago. It's awesome to look back and see the journey. Just based off that question, it makes you do that. So thank you.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people ask us questions like that. I appreciate those. I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Did you guys how'd you come up with roles as far as, so I take it CP, you edit the pod?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's all.
Answer that.
Yeah, you got the hardest job.
Yeah, he does. And
funny story. He's the GOAT, man.
Funny story with that. I got a funny story, and we've never talked about this, but I feel like this was the turning point for us to make CP, as I call him, our tech guy. We hosted an event for someone. We were networking, talking, doing business. We came across a guy that he was a photography guy, videography guy, however you want to word it. We were talking about doing an interview with someone, and he threw his price out, and CP was like, "Nah, man, I know how to do everything. I got it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it." And I never said anything after that, but I noticed it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, that's kind of like how we established that. Like, it was kind of like, like I can do everything that I want him to do, cut the middleman out, do it myself. And then we just unconsciously just established, like, he's the brain, I'm the voice, and then Jordan is the personality. Like, that's where we yes, he's definitely the sauce. And we told him that when we brought him on board, like, hey man, like you are that piece that we need. You are that right there. Yes. You are that piece that we need, man. Like, you balance us out, you know what I mean? And of course, to have a variety, it's always nice to have a woman's perspective. So, shout out to newbie J. She doing her thing right now. She just relocated down to H-Town, so we holding it down for you tonight, man. But that's the team, man. That's kind of how we broke it up. That's really, it just is very organic. Organic. Yeah.
I definitely tried to have her here so she can get some gems from somebody that's in the music business.
Yeah,
she is an artist.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
she do.
Yeah,
but relocating has her swamped right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Culture change.
So I have a question for you, Crack, because I'm gonna bounce it back off. I'm gonna bounce it off of me back to you. Talking about teams and things like that and how we divvy up roles. You yourself, you have a team as well. You have a content team. You have your producing team. With Malik, and they call me Heed, and all those guys. How did you guys formulate your team, and how do they help you succeed? How do they support you?
Everything's really just happened. The whole term, like, organically, basically. I was always so when you're the music artist, you're the one that's in the spotlight, and it was fun being a music artist. And so one of my biggest fears, for whatever reason, was and at this time, because now if I say a music producer, we know what different ones look like. We know what like Murda Beats, Metro Boomin, Kanye, Timbaland. We know what some of these music producers look like. But back then, it was like the behind the scenes guys got no love. Like, we didn't even know who the engineers were, who the cameramen were. And now there's like some cool. Cole Bennett is the coolest music video director in the world, and we all know what he looks like. We know his style, his personality. Yeah. So it's came a long way. And my thought was, well, if no one knows what's going on behind the scenes, I don't want to just go into the shadows. I'm gonna put a spotlight on all the behind the scenes stuff. And so that's why I started documenting all the behind the scenes and whatnot that I did. Well, fast forward to, I would normally when I wanted to start documenting shooting music videos, I knew I need someone to film behind the scenes while I'm shooting the actual music video. So that was like my first natural hire as far as the team, being like, okay, I was doing $200, $300 music videos. So I would just take 10%. So I'd had $20 to $30 to pay someone to just come hang out with me and film some behind the scenes for 2-3 hours. And, back then minimum wage was probably like $7, $8. So I guess that was straight. So that was the first thing. And then I would still edit the YouTube behind the scene video and the customers video. And then fast forward, I got busier and busier, was doing more music videos, and my pricing was going up, $500 music videos and $1,000 music videos and $2,000 music videos. Then it was like, I'm getting so busy that all of my time should go towards shooting more multiple $1,000 music videos versus like editing my behind the scenes. Well, then I learned about Fiverr and seeing that there's people that will edit your YouTube video for $10 or $20 or $30. So that looked super sexy to me for like a year and a half. But then I was afraid that, man, people that are used to watching my content, they love the way that I do it. So this is like the whole ego stuff where I'm like, no one can do it like me. It's my touch. They watch it because they know it's me editing it. Fast forward, I would get so busy, and I love posting content. I don't really pay attention that much to like the engagement. It is cool when there is engagement, but if you just constantly focus on the engagement, then when you post shit and it flops, it messes with your mind and all that stuff. So I just fall in love with the act of like, I'm posting. I just dropped a podcast. I just posted a clip. I just posted something on Instagram. I just posted a picture. Like I'm putting myself out there. So I got busier and busier, and then it was, there's no way I can keep up with posting all these YouTube videos. And then I started looking into how to hire a video editor. And I found out that some of like my favorite videographer guys that I followed on YouTube had people editing their videos. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. Let me just try it. So I had someone edit one of my videos, and it was like $40 or $50. And there was like some revisions that needed to be made, but long story short, it was like less than $100, and the video went to YouTube, and I didn't get one comment that was like, wait a second, who edited this? It wasn't Crack. So then I realized, okay, I can not edit the YouTube videos anymore. This is great. We're expanding. Now I can focus on the, I guess, higher priority tasks. And then that led to the studio where I would get really busy, and I was the only person working at my studio. And the only way to get a session at the studio was you had to contact me. So you either had met me, you got my number, you're texting me, going back and forth. You available this weekend? Yes, no, this time, nope, this time. I hated that. So I made a website for my studio. Well, then I started getting people booking my studio time that they didn't book it because of Cracka Lack. They just booked it because they needed a studio. And during this time, I was doing a lot of traveling, shooting music videos, and people would always say, man, while you're always gone, you should have someone back at home running your studio, like doing sessions. And it was the same thing, the ego. No, man, everyone that works with me, they want me. They don't just want any studio. They specifically want me. And once I had my website and I started getting more and more random people booking sessions that had no idea who I was, and they're having conversations with me about like, do you know anyone that does music videos? And I'm like, yeah, me, and you know anyone that makes beats? I'm like, yeah, me. Let me show you all this stuff. So it was like, oh, okay. They have no idea who I am. That means they're here for the studio, not me. I'm hiring. So I posted like the next day, now hiring 2 studio engineers. Just submit your mixes. I didn't even know how to hire or like make a job posting, etc. It was just like a Facebook post. Well, I had 100 and something people apply, and I hired 2 guys that were good. And then the next thing I knew, they were getting booked and stuff, but it was like I was getting paid doing other stuff. Like I'd be shooting a music video in, say, Chicago, but I'm also making money because there's sessions happening at my studio back home in Michigan. I was like, uh-oh, we got something going on here. So then I went from like 2 employees to like 5. And then, so now I have the guys at the studio. I've brought on Malik, who films a lot of my behind the scenes stuff. I got like a YouTube video editor, a short form video editor. And that's about it right now. Then my wife, she took over one of the businesses, like we have a home CD duplication company. So like, I know it's 2024 and like we don't use CDs or CD players, but it's still a really good way for independent music artists to make money because we offer them for $1. So like if this is my phone, but let's say it was a case with a CD burned, printed, and it has a cover in it, and your fans buy it as a collector. Like, so basically you just need something that you can sell your fans. And a lot of times people think about merch where they're like, no, I'm gonna sell them a hoodie. But it's like the hoodie's gonna cost you, say, $15 and you may sell it for $30. You're only doubling your money. But the CD you can get for $1 and sell it for $10 and you're 10xing your money. So you're not just doubling. So it's a very high profitable item for them to sell. And I tell people, just assume that there's no CD players that will ever exist again, and your fans will still buy a CD to show support. And when they go to your website and they see, they're selling shirts for $30-$40, they're selling hoodies for $50-$60, dang, I want to show support, but I can't really afford all the things they're selling. Let me get a sticker for $5 and a CD for $10. That way I can show love. And then the sticker you're going to get for like 20 cents or something, high margin, and then also the CD itself. So my wife, she runs the CD business.
That's dope. That's
There's a lot going on, man.
Yeah.
Keep it pushing, though.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And I like that too, because you definitely because like you seen that vision, like you like, oh yeah, I got something cooking with this. Like, hold on, like let me go ahead and keep
All
cooking
stations working.
This is making sense. Like 1 + 1 does equal 2. Like for real. Like not on math, but in life, like it really equals 2. So, but like you said, you had to remove your ego, and I think for anyone to see success, you have to do that. You have to. And we've seen stories where people haven't removed their ego, and what's happened. You know what I mean? Whoever it may be, in the headlines, but you have to remove that ego. So that's one thing I caught from a post that you had dropped, and I was like, you're right. Like, yeah. And I've never had an ego. Like we've never bumped heads. You know what I mean? Like I've never been like, this is my podcast. You're gonna listen to me. Like, yeah. Like, that's not how this works. So. It's once again, it's a beautiful thing when you can do that. So, but another thing that you had said that it was on one of your posts, you said your biggest fear is failure. Yeah. And that's one thing that drives me. And I know it drives me when I'm texting CP at 5 a.m. like, yo, I got an idea. Like that's the biggest thing when you start something. And not even when you start something, but when you bring people into the fold and you give them a vision and they buy into that vision, just like how Jordan did, it makes you want to drive yourself that much faster and that much harder to reach your goal because you don't want to fail. You see that, you see the vision and you see like the end. It might be like ways out, but you can see it. You know what I mean? So that's something that I think about all the time. Like, no, like failure would not drive me at all. It will not be my number one priority. Like, and it's just something that makes me want to go harder every day. So that's another thing that you have posted that caught my attention too. So
do you think that helps you as far as like being responsible or that responsibility of like not wanting to let the other people down?
Oh, you know what? I would say definitely, especially being on an island, I would say, because I live alone and I don't have much family around. Yeah, that drives me every waking moment. Like, yeah, I want to show that I can make it. Like, I want to prove to my family that what they instilled in me is a driving force, to keep going. It's unlimited gas. So like I'm just gonna keep going and going and going. I'll call my mom and tell her like, yeah, mom, we just did another episode. You still going, baby? Oh, I'm so proud of you. That's everything I need. You know what I mean? Like that's everything. That's everything I need. I tell her, hey, mom, we got a project we're working on. I'm so proud of you. You started from nothing. What you say? You started from the bottom? Yeah, I started from the bottom. You know what I mean, Mom? I got you. Like, so it's little stuff like that, man. Yeah, definitely driving force.
Let's go around. Let me ask each of you, what motivates you more? And I don't know exactly how to frame the question, but like, running away from the negative thing or like pursuing the positive thing. So like an example could be, you're so afraid of failure that you're running away from the negative thing so much that that's the thing that like is responsible for getting you where you're going. Or the other option could be just what I've always struggled with balancing is like being happy. The term proud but never satisfied.
Yep.
I struggle with that balance. I just ride really high on the never satisfied.
Yeah.
So, but it's not good. Like, you probably wouldn't want to date me because I'm just always thinking about, like, fuck this, we gotta do better. This ain't good enough.
Yeah. When in reality, it probably is. But go ahead, CP.
Probably for me, it's time management with trying to do so much so I can make sure my kids and my wife is good. But I'm also not giving them all of me at the same time.
Feel like it's some potential that's untapped still.
Yeah, it's potential that's untapped, but it's a sacrifice also. Do I lose time with the family and the kids? Or do I chase trying to make them satisfied and happy?
Okay, hold on.
That's what I balance with.
So you're not so much running away from one or the other or towards one or the other. It's kind of like you kind of like neutral.
I'm kind of like, nah, like I'm trying to make sure they straight.
Yeah.
Okay. So
but I lack here sometimes.
This is how I see it with me. So I feel like at this point in lifetime, I've been through as much as the negative I possibly could. So therefore, I feel like I've lived in that. So therefore, like, my motivation from here on by having that life experience is more so, I will. I'm going to make it, but that's what I'm living for. The ultimate part of above content, which is happiness. You know what I'm saying? I want to be happy with what I'm doing and where I'm at after, you know what I'm saying? I'm so motivated with what I'm doing, and I'm got past the point of being impatient, like, because things take time. So more, I mentally got over the fact that I've been through a lot of negative things and more looking at it as I have a positive road ahead of me. So if I stay hungry, if I stay motivated and, keep looking at things in a positive way, I can seek that happiness more than thinking and being in the negative zone of dragging you where you are. So that's how I look at it that way. I look at life. You can't get any worse than where you was at. So let's stay positive and let's stay consistent and growth from there. So that's how
do
I
you guys
look at
deal
it.
with, like, negative hate comments or opinions or?
Well, I don't care about people's opinion. Hey, pretty much, I don't care about what people say. I mean, of course, you take heed and you take criticism and you take it how you want, but it don't matter what level of life you are, you're gonna have some people that got something good to say, something bad to say. It doesn't matter what level you are.
I agree for sure. I take it all. I take it all with a positive aspect for sure. Because you took the time out to listen, watch, whatever it may be, a real episode, and I appreciate that. And your feedback might not be the way that I want to receive it or digest it, but there's a way for me to dissect it and be able to take something away from it to either say, you can keep that. I'm going to take that. Thank you for that feedback. Cool. Appreciate it. You know what I mean? So there's always a silver lining in most situations in life, if not all of them. So.
Okay.
For sure. I definitely feel strong about that.
So you are in the music. This is a running debate throughout the podcast.
I was waiting on it.
I'm going to ask.
I was waiting on it.
Kanye or Pharrell? Who's the better producer and why?
I would say Pharrell. For me, it's yeah. I mean, I don't usually speak on verses. It's just kind of like Kanye is Kanye and he's great in his Kanye way, and then Pharrell is great in his way. But yeah, as far as picking one, I guess if I was a music artist or if I had a label and I signed an artist and I could get a beat from one producer in the world, I would pick Kanye. But it would be more business minded because of Kanye's fame and relevance today. Not specifically because I think that he's better at making beats. I would just say that Kanye's good, and if I went to get a beat from Kanye, it'd be good. If I went to get a beat from Pharrell, it'd be good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can really only answer it from, I guess, a rational business perspective, and that would just
You ain't
be
trying to step
okay.
on no
I want
toes.
that.
All right, we get you. We get you. You ain't trying to
I
step
want
on
the
no
Kanye
toes.
clout.
So I gotta ask, because I mean, all the questions that was leading to, it kind of helped with the question. So just name top 3 that keeps you going. Top 3 things that just keeps you going, despite everything that happens in just life. So what's the top 3 things that just keeps you motivated and pushing?
I would say the first one would be similar to CP. So it's providing for my family. It's like my wife and my daughter, knowing that I'm responsible for them as far as having a roof over their head, transportation to get around, food to eat, etc. Like being responsible for them would be the first one. The second one would be fear of failure. I would say that my fear is in my top motivators, as far as just being afraid of failing, being afraid of being broke, being afraid of, just what could happen if it doesn't work out. Horrified of that so much that that's something I think about probably every hour. And then third thing is, I guess, would be more of legacy impact. So kind of as I've evolved, it'd be like beginning stages was amateur, just interested in learning shit. Then it was like I learned some stuff, made some progress, made some results, seen some success, and then, made some more progress, got some results, seen success. And then now the chapter that I'm in is more of just being vocal about things that I'm learning, things that I'm experiencing. So I'm sharing it. But then when you get the feedback, or the um, feedback from people saying, just the comments that I read about, like, teaching some kid in Africa how to use his camera, and then because I taught him how to use his camera, he made a living doing videos in Africa, and he bought a car, and then the car did this, like I get comments like that, and it's like, dang, bro, that was all just from me. Like I already learned how to do music videos because I was interested in doing music videos and wanted to get better at doing them. And so I did them. So I was already going to do this and learn all this shit. Now that I'm doing it and documenting it, people are seeing me do it and they're like, yo, that looks cool. You appear to know what you're doing. Hey man, what camera are you using? Oh, I use this camera. Oh, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Then you get another comment. It's like, hey, I just watched this video and I'm going to shoot my first music video next week. Got any pointers from me? Yeah, I would do this, this, and this. Or, like, this stuff is fun. How can I make a living doing it like you? So then I drop a video on, how to make a living doing music videos. So just sharing, and me taking the 10 minutes it takes me to sit down and film a video, and then maybe a few hours post-production with editing, and then sharing and posting and doing all that. It's a few hours of my time, but then what's amazing is you could go to like YouTube and look at the back end, and then you can see this video has 14,000 hours watched and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's awesome. I took 10 minutes of my life, maybe an hour here, whatever. And I got 14,000 hours out of it. That's great. And hopefully some of these videos have hundreds of thousands of hours watched. So, and you guys will have the same thing with the podcast, future episodes. You guys sit down and take the 1 hour to have the conversation, and then you're going to look back and see different episodes with, hundreds of hours watched, thousands of hours watched. It's awesome.
Legacy, man. I love that.
Dope.
Something great to leave behind. Sorry, let me get one more question in, guys. What in your career, can you name the greatest moment in your career? Like, can you recall the greatest moment in your career? It don't matter what it is, music, podcasting.
I would say that when I bought my first house, and knowing that, like, or it's between buying my first house or taking my daughter to Disney World or Disney. I don't know if it's Disney World in Florida or Disneyland.
That's Disney World. No,
Disney
Disneyland
World.
is in Florida. No, Disney World is in Florida. Disneyland is in California.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I remember taking her there. She was like 3, and I'm holding her, and they're going around. It was like a Mickey Mouse parade, and they're screaming, "Dreams come true, dreams come true." And I was like emotional holding her, thinking like, that's crazy that, like,
dreams come true.
Yeah, dreams come true. I'm holding her. I'm here. I'm at Disney. I used to always watch and think to myself, hey, whenever I have a kid, man, I want to take him to Disney. And it was like I took her to Disney, and I was able to do that from pursuing my dreams and not giving up, and all the shit that I went through. And so that was
precious.
Yeah, between that moment and then buying the house, because the first time I went to like buy a car as an entrepreneur, and I had shoebox money. So I go in there and they're like, oh yeah, I'm just asking, how much does this car cost? And then they're like, oh, it's this much a month. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, how do I get it? And they're like, oh, we have to, what's your proof of income? I was like, oh, I'm self-employed. And they go, oh, we need 2 years tax returns. I was like, 2 years tax returns? I've never filed my taxes since I've, been an entrepreneur. And they're like, no, we're not going to give you a loan just if you come in here with the box of shoebox money.
Yeah.
So then I learned about the whole like taxes, and I wasn't able to buy a brand new car for 2 years until I filed my taxes. And then I remember I went to like get a house, and then I didn't claim anywhere near enough money to get a house. So then I had to like make more money and pay more taxes. And then it was like I finally, after like 4 or 5, 6 years of that, got approved and got the keys. And it was like, yo, I have a house. I did it.
I worked for this.
Yeah.
That's precious, man. That's
dope. That's dope. But I got a question. He's not as big as he once was, but how was it working with Bubba Sparks?
Bubba is he's a trip. So are you guys familiar with Bubba's music?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just Malik, who does my behind the scenes, he's 27, I want to say. And yeah, when I told him Bubba Sparks, he was like, yeah, I don't know who that is. And I was like, booty rocking everywhere.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I remember twerking the girls in high school to that. I said, yeah. You're gonna meet him today. But yeah, no, he's very funny, like could damn near do stand-up comedy. Every time the camera came to him, he's got a really cool voice, and he'll just say random movie quotes, and then I'll not know what movie's talking about, and he'll just never mind. But yeah, no, and to know that he's still relevant and he's still putting out good music after over 20 years from when Timbaland signed him and discovered him and all that. Ugly came out to you could hear him make a song tomorrow and be like, yo, you still got it. And one thing I learned from Bubba Sparks, because I met him through another independent artist named Adam Calhoun. And Adam Calhoun was actually is one of the top independent music artists like ever. And so that's how I met Bubba Sparks. Was Adam Calhoun hit me up to do a music video, and then Bubba Sparks was on the song. So I got to meet both of them and work with both of them at the same time. And that was in Chicago.
Okay.
But yeah, man, Bubba is very funny. He still got it. And what I was going to say is one thing that's really cool and inspiring and gives maybe some older music artists hope is the fact that Bubba's in his late 40s. And, he's still making money making a living off of his music streams. Adam Calhoun as well. He's like 43 or 44. And I would not be surprised if in 5 years he posted, hey guys, I'm working on another album, and his fans are going to go crazy and they love it. That's the power of having like this cult diehard fan base. They're just waiting.
Yeah.
And they grow with you too. So it's like they might have discovered you when you were 20 and they were 20, they became a fan. And then when you're 40, they're like, hell yeah, I'm still here listening to your music.
Yep.
So that was cool. That
dedication.
showed me. And I give a lot of advice to older artists that come to the studio about like, yo, that whole stigma of like being a certain age cutoff, that was based on a record label investing a lot of money in you. Of course, they want to invest a lot of money in you when you're young so they can reap the benefits for a long time.
Right.
But nowadays, it's so much easier to do all this stuff independent to where like record labels are kind of obsolete. And like a lot of people could pursue the independent route. And then knowing that like these guys are doing it, they're in their 40s, and I can see different artists that are doing it in their 50s still. So.
So since we own music, I ask everybody that's in the music business this. Give me your dream collaboration. Who's on the beat and who's the artist that's on it?
Okay. That's a really good question. The beat would be Timbaland. And if I only had to pick one artist,
Nah, you ain't gotta just pick
You
one.
can pick two.
Two?
Like
Yeah,
a
you
singer,
can pick
rapper.
2, 3.
50 Cent, probably Lil Wayne,
Okay.
and then someone that's not in hip hop that's just a huge star. It'd be like Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber. Because I would want that reach, that clout. That'd be my business mind being like, okay, Timbaland, childhood inspiration. I remember like listening to beats he made, and then I would try to remake them and be awful. And then I would listen to more beats he made, and I would try to remake them and be awful. But it really helped get me going with beats. So Timbaland for sure would be the producer. And then 50 Cent, because he's one of my role models. And like I read his book. I think similar to how 50 thinks when I read his book and stuff. So I think that we have a similar personality type. But so yeah, I would want 50 Cent because of that. Not so much like the music, but his music is still fine. And then I said Lil Wayne, but maybe Eminem, probably Eminem, just because of how huge he is, and then to be in the same room with Eminem and 50 Cent, But yeah, then I would want someone like Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber just to like explode it to now worldwide, international.
Bieber.
The Bieber fever, Swift
Taylor Swift. Either way, but I think Taylor Swift right now. Take that track all over the world. All over the world.
Yeah.
That's actually a dope track though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's 50 Cent Lil Wayne. It's like sex and gangster stuff. Like what's going on?
You got 50 Cent. First of all, you got 50 Cent on the track. If you put 50 Cent on the track right now with everything he's doing on TV, everybody's gonna flood that song. Oh, let's see, 50 Cent making music right now. That's equivalent to Rihanna making music. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Rihanna got new music out, so that's dope right there. And then you got you got Tim on the beat. You already got that relationship right there with 50 and M. That's gonna be like a dang 50 and M on the track together. That's crazy. You're gonna bug out over that. And then if you got Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber, Justin Bieber is hot. He's gonna remain hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Taylor Swift, she one of the hottest right now. That's a dope track. I like that.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's probably one of the best ones that I've heard on the pod thus far. I ain't gonna lie to you.
That's the best.
I'm stamping it.
That might be the best one. That might be the best one.
I'm stamping it right now.
Yeah.
That's the best one right now. That's the best one I heard.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah, that's the best one. That's the best one I heard because I ain't never broke one down like that. But now I got a question for you since we're talking about things that we like, questions we like to ask. If you could think of one song to describe your life, what song would it be?
Oh man. What was that? I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of one.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, that's
I think you stuck me with that.
That's one of those questions. That's
Put
one of
on.
those questions.
Remember Young Jeezy?
Jeezy, put on.
Yeah.
Put on.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that
nice.
one.
I like that.
That's your theme music when you wake up.
Yeah, I would say so.
I put on.
He put on for Lansing.
Yeah.
Put on for Lansing.
For sure, man. For sure.
Shout out to Magic, huh?
Yeah. Right. For sure. Hey, but before we wrap things up, I do have one final question. If I have any other questions, definitely throw them out there. What advice would you give to someone that's going to watch this episode that wants to get in front of that camera, that wants to get in that studio, that wants to chase their dream, but doesn't know what direction to go, doesn't know which foot to put in front of the other? What advice would you have for individuals out there like that and they see you and you motivate them?
I would just remind them that I started the same way, that very introverted. I was the guy that just anytime I'm in the studio with a music artist and then they'd turn the camera to me and they'd be like, "Crack, man, talk your shit." And I just would stand there, kind of like rub my hands and say, "Shout out to Lansing, it's Cracka Lack, 517 or whatever. Like it's very, very awkward. It was like, dang, yo, someone get the camera off of him. But that was my starting point. So I feel like if you're watching me today, right here, right now, and it looks like this is more natural, this is repetition. This is years and years and years of repetition. And there's so much that you can gain from being on camera, talking to a camera. I know it feels very unnatural. It feels very uncomfortable, but like just embrace it and realize all of the benefits that you get outside of it. Because if I would have never started talking to the camera, none of the things that are happening in my life or none of the things that have happened in my life would have ever happened. Just about anything and everything that's ever happened has always stemmed back from me talking to the camera. So like they either found me from a YouTube video or they found me on Facebook or they found me on Instagram or they found me from something that I put out there. And I think it's the easiest way to make an impact on the world, because every time you share a video, I always say people forget, nowadays we just say Instagram or we say YouTube, but back 10 years ago, you would be like www.youtube.com, www. And so I remember that www stands for World Wide Web. So you're able to reach people across the entire world. And I'm in Lansing, Michigan right now. And, maybe someone right now is in Australia or China or the UK or Canada or California, people from all over the world, you can reach them. And for me, I want to reach as many people as I can. It's like reach and teach. Not everyone is good at teaching, but that's something that I found with time that I like to learn new things. So I'm like always in student mode. And then I'm also good at like learning it, comprehending it, and then sharing it to the next person. And then like I taught them it in a fragment of the time. So I might have like went deep and explored it for 10 hours and I learned all these different things about it. And then when I go to call you and share what I learned about it, I'm giving you the 5-minute version of my 10 hours of research. And from me being able to put it all together, I'm selfishly learning it more and better by me describing it to you. Because like to be able to explain it to the next person, you have to understand it.
Exactly.
So I've made this habit of always going out and learning new things, directly benefits me. But then every time I learn new shit, it benefits anyone around me because then I'm just sharing it. And then as I'm sharing it, it's allowing me to learn it and comprehend it even more at a higher level. And then more and more people ask questions and then I'm answering their questions and I'm comprehending it even more. And I'm like becoming an expert very fast by like learning it, teaching it, learning it, teaching it.
Yep.
So yeah, just put yourself out there. Like, yeah, it's life-changing. And I know that term gets thrown out a lot, but it really is, like we wouldn't be talking right here, right now, if you guys weren't putting yourself on camera. Now I know each of your names. I know what each of you look like and sound like and talk like. And, I at least know some of your background. So we kind of know each other. And we spent, about an hour together. And then the same thing for anyone watching the show. So, yeah, turn the camera on and press record and start creating.
Hey,
this was amazing.
Wise words from a decent man. I promise you, man. Part one, like I said, that's very, very informative, and that's advice for me. Shit, I'm in front of the camera with you, man. So
I'm taking it too.
That's advice for real. Like, and we say it like CP. You say it all the time. Just get in front of the camera and press record. Like that's really all it takes, and that's the hardest part for some people. So
yeah,
it might seem so simple, but it's really not, because a lot of people battle a lot, insecurities and anything else that may come with it. But thank you for that advice, because not only did you help somebody that's gonna watch this, but you helped all three of us for sure, as we're all chasing our goals and our dreams for sure. So
100%. For a second, I thought we was like we had you as a guest. I almost felt like I was a guest.
Yeah, I like that.
I was
almost felt like the guest. It's like the first time that our guest made us feel like a guest almost.
Yeah,
this was amazing. Very informative, man. This was awesome.
Yeah. I like that.
Definitely. I just want to say thanks for even responding to my message.
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
it was dope. It was
Yeah.
dope. It was
Man,
dope.
we may can get a favorite verse in for the outro or something. You know what I'm saying? Get your favorite verse. You know, just spit a little couple 16 for you dip. You know.
Oh no, I don't. I stopped
Hey.
doing that
he said,
12 years ago.
he said,
It's funny because still to this day, I'll randomly get people asking about like, "Hey, how much would you want for a feature?" It's like, dude, it's not a price thing. It's a, I don't.
If I got
do
it.
that.
Right.
Yeah. That makes sense for sure. But nonetheless, Crack, thank you for joining us, bro. We definitely appreciate you sliding by the pod and kicking it with us, man. As you just let us get a little better insight on you as a person, man. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to see you guys get. How many episodes are you at right now?
We are
This
at
is 37.
37.
I thought it was
Yeah,
36.
I'm excited to see you guys past 100, and
Yeah.
then I'm excited to see you guys past 200. You
We're
know
gonna
what I
we're
mean?
gonna do the 100 episode in the crack house.
Let's do it.
I'm with that.
How many
100
episodes do you guys do a
episode.
week?
One, just
We
one,
just do
One. Okay.
Yeah.
one a week.
So you're at 30. So you'll end the year at like 60 or something.
Yeah, we might have to double
We
up.
have to double up. We have to
Yeah.
double it up.
We're gonna double up. We're gonna
have to
double up.
We have to double up and just start pushing content.
Yeah.
Yeah. Set a goal by half the year. Whew.
Maybe if you do the same strategy that I was saying, like the guest one episode, next episode no guest, you know, and then the no guest episode, it allows you guys to do more of the back and forth, talking about what's going on, go around the room where each of you share something that you guys something new this week, you know, because if you film once a week, it's like, all right, Jordan, come on, what's new this week? Man, my car broke down again, and so now you're talking about cars for 5 minutes or whatnot, and that leads to, and it's like, CP, what's new with you? Man, I think we should start filming more episodes. Or I've been doing a lot of cooking or recipes. Now you guys start talking about food for a little bit, and then Smiley goes to you, and then you talk about something new with you this week. Okay, maybe if you guys want to be more relatable or vulnerable, then it's kind of like, all right, let's go out. Jordan, what's something that you've been struggling with this past week? It's like, man, my schedule's all over the place. Now you guys get talking about schedules for 5-10 minutes. CP, what's something that you've been struggling with this week? The work-life balance, man. I feel like I've been spending so much time editing and not enough time with the family. And, I'm going to start saying on Saturdays, it's family time only. Okay. Go around to Smiley. What's something that you're struggling with this week? Like, man, I feel like we should be doing more. We're not doing enough. Like, next thing you know, you got a great hour conversation.
You want to know what's crazy?
Regular conversation can definitely get recorded.
I designated my Saturday strictly for editing.
And I'm always saying we're not doing enough. I'm always saying we're not doing enough. That's so crazy.
That's crazy.
I always saying we could be doing a little bit more. Dang, that's crazy. Now you're right.
As you know, we're on the right path, y'all. We're on the right path.
We could be doing more.
Yeah, we could be doing more.
It's the hunger
right there.
The hunger.
With that being said, world, whatever you want in life, don't let nothing stop you from going after it. Don't take no for an answer. As I always tell y'all, if there's a no somewhere, I promise y'all there's a yes somewhere else.
Stay hungry.
Stay hungry, stay humble, all of that, right? Don't give up, keep pushing, stay focused, stay positive. And with that being said, Crack, thank you, bro. Till next time, bro.
I just feel wrong just calling you Crack.
Crack.
I know it's your name. I'm like, man, what's up, Crack? I don't know.
Aviator Hughes, man.